Alrighty, guys, welcome back to another episode of Blue Collar Shock. Again, with me as always,
it's your Dirty Sanchez.
And we just finished up our Spirit of the Week review for Napalm by Litslingers, and it was not what we were initially expecting.
We won't give you any more than that. It was surprising. So, if you want to see the full review of that, go to the YouTube channel and go and check out that review of Leadslinger's Napalm. You will be surprised, just as we were, about our initial reactions to this particular whiskey.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get right into the podcast episode.
Yep. And we're, as last week we said, guys, we're going to start covering conspiracy theories and all sorts of fun theories. And what better one to start with than the Vatican being a den of pedophiles?
Not just a den of pedophiles, like...
or especially the Pope. Pope. There's the shit with the Pope, dude. Like, they treat his ass like a god.
They do. So, here's my problem with it, right? So, I don't believe in religion, man.
Yeah.
So, here's my whole thing with that, right? So, if what people say is true, right? And, I mean, as far as, like, the whole concept of religion, right? I'm not ignorant to what religion is or what people believe. I've done my own study on, religion, on, Christianity, Catholicism, on Satanism, necromancy, Wiccans, pagans, fucking Baptist. I've gone down all fucking roads because I want to understand. It's not I'm not one of those people that just flat out I'm like, oh well, fuck God because of whatever reason. Like my whole concept is that I can't believe until I understand. There's a certain level of understanding I have to have before I can put my faith in something. That would be like me fucking buying, one of these guns off the wall. Never shot it never shot it before. Don't have no understanding of the platform. And then just blindly saying, hey, I blindly put my faith in this one particular firearm just because. People have said it's good. People have said it's this. People have said it's that. I need experience, and I need to experience and be on that platform before I'm able to give you a definitive, hey, yes, I do believe in this. No, I don't believe in this. Hey, I think it's shit. Hey, I think there could be improvements here, right? So, and again, the whole thing with the religion, it's the manner in which it's handled, right? Because I'm not ignorant to religion, you know what I'm saying? My family, and, I grew up Catholic. Mm-hmm. So Catholicism has always existed. Even now to this day, as much as my grandmother respects me as an adult, she will tell you that if you asked my grandmother what my religion was, she would tell you, I'm a non-practicing Catholic. And that's not true. But to her it is, because they baptized me when I was, fucking one or some shit. Like I had a fucking choice. I was like, yeah, hey, yo, go dip my ass into some water, okay? Listen, I need you to keep just I'm talking, dunk me real quick, baptize me so I don't see demons, right? Which isn't, based on my experiences in life, that's not true. Being baptized doesn't mean you can't see demons. Because the whole concept of especially with Catholics, is that, when you baptize a child, you keep them innocent and pure. You stop them from being able to see the evil things that you can. And that's, I've been baptized. That doesn't mean I'm saved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's a video I saw online. And the way to describe it was absolutely perfect when speaking about baptized and stuff like that. It says that if you take a very wicked man who's very dark, cruel, commits all sorts of sins, don't give a fuck about nobody, the devil's not going to go after him. He's not going to send his demons or generals after him. He's like, hey, that's my favorite fucking dude right there. He's the employee of the month.
Right.
The guy who goes to church religiously, has Bible study on Wednesdays, and tries to recruit people and save your soul type of shit.
Yeah.
Devil sending generals after you.
Right.
So the whole thing of like, oh, I'm baptized now, I'm saved. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. So my whole thing is, with respect to religion, is that people don't truly understand it. People's ideas and concepts of religion is based strictly off of what it's all strictly based off of hearsay.
Yeah.
Right. So my family grew up Catholic. So then by default, I should be a Catholic, right? I should believe like, hey, ultimately this is what the Catholic Church believes, and I must follow that to a T, or else, or else be damned to hell for the rest of eternity, And if that's the case, fuck it, so be it. Satan's just keeping my fucking seat warm. So with that being said, the whole thing, I've always questioned the hierarchy of religion. And more so, it exists within the Catholic Church. It exists within the Catholic Church more so than like Christianity or Baptists and things like that, right? Because within the hierarchy of like the Catholic Church, you have like your basic priests, right? Your basic priests, they go to the preschool, they become part of the priesthood, and they run their own, I guess flock or church or whatever the fuck you want to call it, right? And for me, when I look at Catholicism, I see more of a cult. I mean, I see more occultism than I do anything else, because out of all the religions, if you're not showing up in your Sunday's best, because the whole concept of religion is that, any man could walk off the street, and if he wanted to receive the word of God and be saved, that he should have that ability without judgment, without, any sort of deterrent. He should be able to go and walk into this house of God and receive the word, to have his soul saved, right? To, fill this level of spirituality, because I think that's what people are aiming for, but it's often missed. Yeah. So, and I find it worse with Catholics, because I've seen it before. As I remember this specifically as a kid, so there was a church, and this is actually the Catholic church that my abuelita had her funeral. For those of you who don't know, abuelita is typically grandmother, but when I was young, my great-grandmother, that's who I'm referring to, so the actual pronunciation is abuelita. For me, I was so little and so young, I couldn't say abuelita. I would always say abuelita. Yeah. So by that, she was christened that. She was my abuelita. And that's all what I've always called her. That's my abuelita. So going through the whole thing, when they pass, you have the viewing, right? And then the whole thing of the rosary. I don't necessarily believe in God, or I don't subject myself to believing in something that I cannot see or I don't have the ability to comprehend. Mm-hmm. No human being, no matter how spiritual you are, has the ability to comprehend what is above or below. And if you say you do, you're fucking dumb. You don't. If you truly fucking knew, if we truly knew, things would be different. It's all theology, right? Anything when it comes to religion is theology. It's theoretical. We have no proof of it. We have no proof of what exists beyond life, what exists beyond death. You know what I mean? Yeah. So my whole issue with the Catholic Church is that the Pope is like God. The Pope is... So the whole thing with the Pope is... And it's all based off of a ceremonious religion. It's a whole ceremony thing, right? When the previous Pope dies, the top 13 people, 14, however many fucking people, right, that are supposed to be next in line for the position of the Pope. So they go into this chamber, they burn the body of the Pope, the previous Pope, right? And by the smoke, based on the fucking smoke color and the patterns and this and that determines who will become the next Pope. And according to Christianity, Catholicism, and things like that, right, it's always been said that the devil will come in the form of a man who will make you believe he is of God, that he will spread lies, but in the name of Christ. But really, he's sowing the devil's work. Oh, yeah. They've always said that next to the house of God, the devil will build a house, right? The house of the devil is right next door. So my whole problem with the Pope is, how can people blindly and definitively follow a man that is chosen by some weird ritual And it's more so an election of, in my opinion, it's an election of a person who gets to quote unquote speak for God and has this definitive thing like, oh, I got a direct line to Jesus Christ. Yo, I've been hitting him up. He's digging this new album by so and so. My boy is lit. Let me tell you, man. He said this is cool, but this ain't. Like I can't believe in all of that, right? I've never had a personal relationship, I guess, if you will, as people tend to classify it. I don't have a personal relationship with God or with Christ or whoever, right? I don't have that relationship. And I think that's why I'm able to see it from a different perspective, because I've been I guess what you would call indoctrinated into it as a youth. It was forced upon me. So I got to see all this shit. I've got to see it. Like, you go into a Catholic church and it's like, hey, stand up, kneel, sit down, kneel, sit down, stand up, kneel, sit down. Right.
Like, we went speaking for all that shit. This is, we've never done Catholics in my family. We've never done Catholic anything.
That's interesting because
I grew up really religious, but like my family, we have our own little church. Like the family has a church, and this church used to be like a halfway house.
Okay.
On the east side.
Yeah.
So like it's very like non-denominational. We all come together. I remember being as a kid, I didn't want to go to church because I thought it was boring as shit.
Well, I mean, fucking what kid doesn't, right?
And I didn't want to get bit by scorpions because there's scorpions in that building all the damn time. Yeah.
Listen, if I pray to Jesus, the scorpion's not gonna get me, man. It's crawling on me right now. If I just pray to Jesus, it's gonna go away. It's like, nope, that motherfucker is right there. If you don't swat him away or take some kind of action, you will die.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's also... But anyway, beside the whole point. So yeah, I grew up going to church a lot, but it wasn't Catholic. Never Catholic. My very first experience with the Catholic church was when I stood up in the quinceañera.
Yeah.
And then we did the whole mass thing, and then
yeah, mass.
They were telling me, like, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do all
right, you walk it... So,
and I was like...
Well,
why?
Let me explain for those of you who aren't Catholic. You walk the minute you walk into the church, you dip your index finger into the holy water, and you fucking do the sign of the cross, right? You fucking, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen, right? Fucking do the whole thing. Before you sit down, you go to whatever pew you're gonna go to. You gotta kneel, do the Father, the Son, Holy Spirit again, right? Then you can sit down. And then whenever the fucking father comes out, he'll say your thing, you'll stand up. But whenever they took us, it was all in Spanish. So I fucking didn't even... So for me, it was even more cultist-like. I'm like, there's a language I don't understand. These people are doing all these things. Man, this shit's like a fucking cult, bro. They're gonna fucking sacrifice all the small children to the father. He's gonna fucking put it in our booty holes, and then they're gonna slit our throats and drink the blood of the children. That's what I was thinking as a kid, right? Yeah. I'm like, this doesn't make any fucking sense, right? And I think partially it didn't make sense because obviously I didn't fucking speak Spanish. Like even to this day as an adult, I don't speak Spanish. Yeah. So when people are like, I'm like, fucking, let me get you to somebody who speaks Española, bro. Because I don't fucking speak that shit, right? So my whole problem is, again, it's the hierarchy. You have your priest, then you have like a fucking... you have like fucking... Because we have one here in Lubbock, and I was extremely surprised.
Like a deacon?
Yes, we have a deacon. We have a deacon here in Lubbock, right? And I remember driving down, because I was going to drop Bree off, right? And I was driving by, and I was like, holy fuck. Yeah, we got a deacon here in Lubbock? What the shit? But it doesn't surprise me, I guess, in a way, because we have so many Catholic churches here in Lubbock, right? So my whole thing is like, to the priest is above him. It's almost like fucking like the military, right? You have like, so, I was a lance corporal. Above me was a corporal. We'll have above him was a sergeant, staff sergeant, gunnery sergeant, master sergeant, first sergeant, fucking master guns, sergeant major, that type of shit, right? So to me, that's what it's almost like having a military rank. It's like you go up, you fucking move up in rank based off of time and grade, time and service, right? You've been a fucking priest long enough. You've been a priest this long. You've been a priest this long, so that's like time and grade, right? Then you've been a priest for 7 years, time and service, right? Okay, well, hey, it's time for you to move up, and now you're gonna be a deacon, or you're gonna be a fucking whatever the fuck, right? And that's my whole thing. It's like you jump up, right? And something I've always found interesting is that, so I believe in like bad spiritual shit. I believe in like exorcisms and stuff like that. I believe like because I've seen it. I've seen demonic figures. I used to fuck around with Satanism. I used to fuck around with necromancy when I was young, and I've seen some shit. You know what I'm saying? And I can tell you definitively, I've seen it. I know that evil exists. I know that evil exists. I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. I fucked around with it, man. Touching fingers. Touching tips, bro. You know what I'm saying? We were docking. I was like, yo, I got foreskin, bro. Let's... yeah. Fucking penis. Fucking demon penis. It's touching mine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So... my whole thing is like, so in order for an exorcism to be performed, a priest at a church can't just go and say, hey, let me perform this exorcism. It has to be approved by the Vatican. Mm-hmm. So they got to submit a form or give a call or whatever the procedure is. But they have to contact the Vatican. And then it has to go to the higher-ups above, and they have to review the case. There's like a fucking panel. And then after that panel reviews it, they have to send word back and say, hey, we approve it, or hey, we don't approve it. Right? And there's been so much controversy. There's been shit in courts that have happened because of things that happen in exorcisms. Mm-hmm. And it's just so fucking weird. Because Catholicism is the only fucking religion it absolutely requires approval from other people for shit to happen. Mm-hmm. You want to do this, has to have approval. You want to do this, has to have approval. And it's absolutely fucking insane. And again, with the whole, everything that happens within a standard Sunday Mass... And when I think Mass, so many things come to mind. Because Satanists, they have Mass. Mm-hmm. It's a different kind of Mass, but it's still Mass. Yeah. They still call it Mass. It's the Black Mass. Right? So it's like, having experienced both sides, I'm like, man, for these two to be so opposite of each other, there are so many fucking similarities. And it's insane. Yeah. And I watched this documentary talking about how... the Vatican specifically, right? So if you go to the Vatican City, right, they have a whole bunch of things on display. Hey, this was God's. This was, this belonged to Jesus Christ. These are religious documents supporting this and that. Mm-hmm. But there's a whole bunch of shit underneath the Vatican. They have like vaults, archives, I guess, if you will. Whole bunch of shit nobody's ever seen. But they claim that these are things supporting religion itself, supporting the things that happened within the Bible, or rather their version of the Bible. And these items, these things this is the kind of shit that gives the Pope and gives the Vatican, gives Catholicism the authority that it has.
Well, okay, so like take the Bible, right? Take the Bible, for example.
Right.
If you actually go through and like read through the Bible, yeah, there's a lot of good stuff in it too, but there is so much fucking twisted shit in it.
But my question is, which Bible? How many times has the Bible been reinterpreted in a way... Like, you have the King James version, you have fucking this version, you have fucking that version.
Well, that's what I'm getting.
Which version are you talking about?
Like, just in general, like, just about all of them kind of are the same. They changed some wording to it, but more or less all the stories are kind of the same. But even then, they have even... the Vatican even came out and said that there are certain books they have excluded from the Bible for whatever reason.
Right.
I'm like, I can't remember how many books are actually in the Bible, but they're supposed to be like, it's only like half of what's actually supposed to be in the whole collection of them all. I'm like, how can you exclude that many? And the original Bible, so to say, was in Latin.
Right. Well, I mean, most people don't fucking...
Nobody. It's a dead language.
It's a dead language, right, yeah. So if you want to speak Latin, you have to go through extensive training to understand it, right? I mean, just with any other dead language out there. But yeah, that's the thing. But then again, now you're not just talking about old version. You're not just talking like different versions of the new version. You have different versions of the old version because you have the Old Testament, New Testament. Yeah. What's the fucking difference? Why is there an Old Testament and a New Testament? If the Bible's definitive in what it's supposed to be, why are there different versions? Why is there so many different fucking interpretations? Dude, you look at other religions like Mormonism, right? They don't even believe in Jesus Christ. They believe a guy named John... Because I remember talking to the Mormons, right? Yeah. Dude, they believe a guy named John Smith. That's his name, John Smith. Fucking good old John! Just woke up one day and started talking to Jesus. John Smith. Not Moses, not Jesus Christ, not any of these people. It was John Smith. John Smith was the founder of their fucking religion, basically. The way I see it. The way I comprehended it. Yeah. Right? Because it's not that I wasn't interested or I was trying to fuck around with these people. I'm trying to understand. So I was like, okay, yeah, you know what? Send your missionaries. Talk to me, right? Mm-hmm. And I always did something extreme to fuck with them, right? I'd be playing some fucking Slayer. I'd come to my, I'd come to the door. I had this one fucking shirt at the time and a picture of Mary on it, right? And it's like, Mary was only a virgin if you don't count anal. right? Like some extreme fucking shit, right? You know, crazy fucking shit. You know what I'm saying? I fucking used to wear an upside down cross. I used to fucking, so extreme, right? So I used to fuck around with these people, see what they would do, right? And out of all the religions, dude, the Mormon people, they didn't back down. They were trying to talk.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, hey, talk to me about it. I'm not trying to fuck around with you. I'm trying to understand. So help me understand. Mm-hmm. Why? Because to me, in my opinion, the Bible is nothing more. It just religion as itself, in my opinion, is a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. It's something that's arbitrarily been used as a means of controlling people or a justification for doing bad shit, but in the name of the Lord. So now it's christened as good, right? You know, you look back at Catholicism's the worst about it. You know, you had the Crusades.
Oh yeah,
the Crusades. That's some of the worst shit that's ever happened. You look at Israel, right? How many times has I think more blood has been spilled over that quote unquote Holy Land, which the Jewish, the Christian, Catholic religion, and people of Islam all believe to be the Holy Land. How much fucking blood has been shed over that? Mm-hmm. And who's to say that's even where the Holy Land actually is? Just because it's christened by man to be holy doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it is, right? Who determined that? Who determined that? How long ago was that determined? That's what I'm saying, man. There's so much ambiguous shit within the Bible and religion in general. I can't subscribe to that shit, man. I can't click the subscribe button, hit the fucking bell icon for fucking notifications, for fucking notifications from Blue Collar Shock.
Speaking of which, guys, make sure y'all subscribe.
Right. That's a little fucking segue. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, because we're not a religion. We're just here to fucking drink and talk bullshit, right? But when it comes to the totality of religion, I have so many questions that people can't fucking answer. How do you expect me to... I can't blindly follow. That'd be like someone come into my house and be like, hey, man, if you follow me, I'll get you up there with the aliens, man. Or I'd be like, the problem is people
would never allow that.
Right. Like, hey, babe, tinfoil hats, let's go. We're going to go see the aliens. Right? So my whole thing is like, religion's been used to do so much bad shit. You look at Jerry Jones. Yeah. And all that shit that happened back then. Hey, fucking drink the Kool-Aid. You don't drink the Kool-Aid? Don't worry. We'll get you there. We'll get you there. You don't want to drink the Kool-Aid? We got an alternative. It's called a bullet. In the back of the fucking head. Children, dude. How many fucking children did they find there? Like fucking just like a mass grave of bodies.
Yeah. That whole Jerry Jones thing was nuts.
Yeah, and I remember talking to my grandma about that. She was alive when that happened, and she remembers seeing it on the television, right? And it's fucking crazy, dude. Like,
so for those of you guys who don't understand the whole thing with Jerry Jones and that whole... Was it Jamestown, right? That's what they called it?
Yeah, they called it Jamestown. It was a whole separate island, though.
Yeah, it was a whole island.
Yeah.
So, like, it was a cult, guys. It's a full-on cult. And the news crew went and checked it out. They said, this is bad shit. We gotta get the fuck out of here. Come back, later that day?
No, they were getting... So what it was is they were getting ready to leave, right? But they were telling them, like, hey, before you leave, we're actually going to perform our ceremony. Mm. And then that's when they were handing out the Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid, so to speak. The poison it had was poison and cyanide. And so they had armed guards at the ready. If you didn't want to drink your Kool-Aid, they shot you right in the fucking head.
Well, no. So, I remember watching the documentary. A lot of the crew, hey, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
This was after all that shit started happening. The news crew said, we gotta get the fuck out of here. We gotta fucking leave. So then they started trying to shoot, and I think they wound up killing one of the fucking crewmen for the news team.
Yeah, but I was saying, when they flew back over it, I think it was, that same day.
No, when they flew back over it, it was all done.
Yeah, no, but saying, so from the time they left the settlement to the little airstrip that they had, they got shot at, one of them died.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's when they took off, they flew over the settlement, or when they came back to check it out.
I think it was when they came back, because they were like, hey, we gotta fucking bring somebody. This is... Yeah.
Man, that better not have fucking done what I thought it did.
Let me check real quick. It's old news. It's old news. Stop reading that shit.
Sorry, guys, the camera.
Sorry, yeah, we had a slight malfunction there with the technology.
So anyway, so when they go back, right, this new crews go back, they're flying over the settlement, and I remember them talking about it, because I watched it with my dad.
Yeah.
And how they described it was, it looked like there was just garbage everywhere.
Yeah, because of the way they had covered the bodies, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like there was just heaps and heaps of garbage everywhere, and they couldn't really make out detail from the sky. So when they go down, they land, and they go to the settlement.
Yeah,
there's nobody there, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And they start looking at the garbage. It's people.
Yeah, it's like they were covering bodies and in like tarps and shit. So like from the high ground, it looked like it was just heaps and mounds of trash. But really, realistically, what they were looking at was heaps and mounds of people.
Yeah, like hills. Of fucking people.
Like just people dead, children, men, women. Because the whole concept was with Jerry Jones was that he was going to help them, quote unquote. And this is I always find it odd that the word usage is always like, ascension. Ascension will help you ascend.
We're going to ascend to immortality,
right? Or we'll ascend to the heavens, or whatever the case is, right? And but this isn't the first time. This wasn't the first time that had been used. You had Charles Manson.
Oh yeah,
Manson, dude. The people who followed Manson, they believed that he was Jesus Christ reincarnated. They thought that he was it, and then committed heinous acts on his behalf because they believed he was, they believed that he was the second coming of Jesus Christ, which is absolutely fucking crazy, right? But that's my whole problem with religion. It's, in my opinion, just throughout history has been used as nothing more than just a reason, a fucking excuse to do bad shit. You had, the Salem. You go back and you look at history, the Salem witch trials. Women being burned for being accused of being witches. You had the Catholic Church. Catholic Church has done this for fucking years. You had people who believed in science, just regular science, not even like witchcraft or anything like that.
Shit, you kind of know as common knowledge.
Right, common knowledge. Now you were like, hey, this is proven science. Back then, it was like, hey, this is heresy. You're using the tools of the devil to spread the word of Satan. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I can't remember who it was specifically. I think it might have been Galileo. I think he was put on house arrest until he died. Yeah, because of his belief in science and the stars. Because the whole concept was that we were the center of the earth, and everything else revolved around us, to include the sun and the moon. Which is at this point it's been scientifically proven we revolve around the sun, and then the moon revolves around us. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the moon was right. It does revolve around us. But within that, thing revolving around us, in the totality of everything, including the moon, everything revolves around the sun because of the gravitational pull. That's scientifically proven.
So, speaking of crazy shit that Vatican has done and everything, I just been looking up stuff that the Vatican or the church has done, and I found 13 dark secrets or conspiracy theories about the Vatican Church.
Right.
And the second one I've never heard of, and I thought was really interesting. So I'm just going to read it to you and tell me if you think this is true or not, okay?
What's that?
So it says, the Vatican Church helped Nazi war criminals escape the Allied forces at the end of World War II.
I can see that, yeah. So here's the whole thing with the church. The church has always been a... You could call it a safeguard, I guess, if you will. Yeah. It's always been a safe haven, like a safe haven. Like even regardless of your crimes against humanity, if you come to the church and say, "I've changed, I just need safe haven," they would protect and help these people, regardless of your sin, because the whole concept was, regardless of your sin, you're forgiven. Yeah, where God will forgive you, you just have to change.
So here's the next one, right? And also, all these involve the Vatican Church. The Vatican made money from the Holocaust. In addition to aiding the escape of thousands of Nazis from Europe, the Vatican was also involved in helping smuggle Nazis looted art, golf, and other properties belonging to Jewish families that have suffered from the concentration camps.
I can believe that too.
Yeah, that one.
You have to understand, with the conflict, Catholicism has always considered itself, it's always tried to consider itself to be the absolute religion. Mm-hmm. That's why places like, Jerusalem, so to speak, right? It's been so contested because Catholics, Jewish, and people of Islam all believe that land belongs to their people. That's why, dude, if you go back in history and you look at the wars that were fought over that, it's been in control of the Jewish people, and then the Islams came to fight. They won. Then it was in control of them. Then the Christian Catholic came. They fought, and then it was in control of them. There's been so much blood and blood spilled over that piece of quote unquote Holy Land. That's where it's absolutely fucking insane to think that, it is what it is, right?
So here's another one that it bleeds from our previous episode, guys, on conspiracy theories. One of these is that they hold evidence of the existence of extraterrestrial life. Rumors suggest that the Vatican holds proof of the existence of extraterrestrial life in the forms of extraterrestrial skulls, and some sources say that the archives contain proof that the Pope is conspiring extraterrestrial beings to implant everyone on Earth with microchip computers.
I don't know if I believe that.
Maybe
the last part. Yeah, that's that's reaching a bit.
That last part.
It's not that I don't believe in extraterrestrial life. I just don't think that whatever intelligent life is like, yo, let me hit up the Pope. Let me hit up the Pope. I think that's stretching a bit, but I think maybe they could have evidence of that. You know what I'm saying? But I think fucking the United States, I think every government might have some form of it. No one just, they don't want to cause a panic.
Yeah.
So I can see that, yeah.
So here's another one, which this one I personally kind of believe is true. It says home to the largest collection of pornographic imagery, videos, or other media.
100% can see that. 100%. I've always said that people, people, especially, people who practice Catholicism, just in general, your standard fucking Catholic, fucking biggest hypocrites on earth. Oh, they're so goddamn hypocritical. They practice, they preach and say they practice all these things, but then you turn around and you got fucking, quote unquote, fathers, fucking molesting fucking, what are they called?
Yeah, like squire kids. Or,
it's not Squire. It's yeah, like basically they're molesting little boys and shit like that, and like not even little boys, just children in general. You know what I'm saying? There was a whole conspiracy somewhere up north. There was a Netflix documentary about how this one father, he fucking raped like 49 girls, and he wound up passing away, but he was never brought to justice for it. You know what I'm saying? And there was a whole fucking thing. A whole bunch of girls disappeared.
Damn.
But they didn't want to look into it. The cops didn't want to because, if you really look up north, man, there's a lot of Catholicism. You have like old Irish Catholic, fucking whatever Catholics that exist.
Yeah. So, all right. So, moving on to the next one, guys. There's another conspiracy that the Vatican Church is controlled by the Illuminati.
I could see that.
Yeah, I can see that too.
I could see that too, yeah.
Definitely see that.
Yeah.
So that one, I believe, is possible. This one, actually, I did not expect to see this one in this article. They believe that the Vatican Church is the home of the but
Go ahead.
I haven't hooked it up.
What the fuck? All right, guys, so we had a second little break there because the camera stopped recording again.
Yeah, again. And this has never happened.
What the fuck?
So that's weird.
Yo, right? Yeah, the Catholics are like, hey, we gotta take them out.
Yeah, so if this is the last episode you see of us, guys, something.
Yeah, the Catholics came for us and they won.
Shit, I ain't going down without a fight.
Oh, no, me neither. It's gonna be on the fucking news. Somebody will know.
Yeah, somebody will fucking know. Well, with that being said, guys, let's not piss off the Catholics anymore. We're gonna move on to our next conspiracy theory. Honestly, kind of forgot what was our other one.
Rothschild.
Rothschild. Oh yeah, there.
Rothschild, man. Yeah.
We gotta hit on that one kind of quick because we're kind of short for time.
Oh yeah, where we at? Oh yeah. All right,
so
we're a little short on time.
Last one you want to get a little more deep into, so we're gonna go over that quickly. Those of y'all who don't know about Rothschild, how would you sum that up in like a paragraph?
That Rothschild is the biggest, like I guess, biggest and unknown family that they control like a majority of the banking industry in the world, and they're untouchable. They control everything from the shadows. There's not a major decision in the world that's believed, whether it's war, financial decisions, the stock market, whatever the case is, everything is affected by a decision in that Rothschild family.
Yeah.
That's the whole concept, or rather the conspiracy, rather. So, that's my basic understanding, that they're basically this, like, they're above the 1%ers. Mm-hmm. They are the richest people in the world, but they live in the shadows.
Oh yeah.
They live and make decisions, and everything happens from unseen eyes.
Well, like
that there's from what my understanding is, Rothschild has so far of a reach. They have They have a reach to every major political entity in the world. The presidency in the United States, the presidency in South Korea, Africa, Japan, doesn't matter. They control everything. Yeah, they're basically like the helm or head of what the Illuminati is.
And so a friend of mine sent this to me, and it made a whole lot of sense. And I'll probably say this for like another episode. Is I'm not gonna get too far deep into this. Is that what's it? Not pharma. I think it's pharma actually. No, fuck. What is it? It's some organization. I can't remember.
When you say pharma, I automatically think of like big pharma, like
Yeah.
the whole conspiracy that we've, that's a different conspiracy. Is that we've had the cure for cancer for years, but every person who's discovered it, they've killed. Me and Bree have talked about that. She's like, if I discover the cure for cancer and I try to release it, there's a good chance that they would probably try to come and kill me. Yeah, so that's a big conspiracy there. It's crazy because Bree's a person. She's a very rational person.
Yeah.
She doesn't really necessarily believe in conspiracies. She believes there may be an extraterrestrial life out there. She doesn't necessarily believe we've made contact or that we've seen it, right? But she does believe it is out there because it's ignorant to think otherwise. I'm sorry, it just really is. But her whole thing, she's like, no, I truly believe, within my field, if I were to say something and I've discovered the cure for cancer, they would try to kill me.
So, again, I remember the organization. It's FEMA.
Yeah, Federal Emergency...
Some shit like that, yeah.
Mass... something, yeah. FEMA is basically like, for something bad goes down, like a major fucking, like, not man-made, but like... what's the word? It's not man-made, but it's like a non-man-made catastrophe, like a just natural disaster, a hurricane, earthquake, fire, major fire, or something like that. FEMA would respond. Yeah. So like Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah. So there's this whole theory that he sent me this video, and it kind of made sense, but it kind of didn't. But it goes like FEMA controls our government. And
how so?
They tagged it with a clip of Trump whenever he was president, still talking about how with COVID and everything, they're going to go into this new phase and they're going to start doing this, start doing that.
Yeah.
And like the way they broke it down was that FEMA basically wrote the speech for him, saying that he is relinquishing power as president and signing over this little signing over his power to FEMA to control everything and let them do whatever they got to do, that I just agree to be like the figurehead.
You mean like martial law type of shit?
Kinda.
Because it's almost sounding like that's what you're stating that they would do, like martial law.
Yeah, it seemed like that, and I was like, and I told the dude, I was like, bro, that sounds like martial law to me.
Right.
And he was like, no, keep watching, watch the video all the way to the end, and like, it made sense in that context, but it seemed like there was a lot of context missing out of that video, and I wish I had it. I don't have it on Word. It was one of those things where you get sent on like Instagram or Facebook, and then it gets deleted like right after.
Yeah, it's like content not available type of deal. Yeah.
So I was like, okay. But it seemed like, all right, this could be true.
Right.
But it played a little too well. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like the video, the narrator talking about how this is how FEMA does it, this is how it all interacts. It played a little too well. Like they nitpicked clips and audios and shit like that.
Okay, like a selective type of deal. Like, hey, we selectively chose. Out of 1,000 clips, we selectively chose 6 that might sound like it. Like if you were to mesh it and edit it together, like it would just sound like that was something that was possible.
Yeah. That's what it seemed to me. I was like, it is a theory.
Yeah,
it is a theory, but I was like, I would see it more as a much more of a shadow family, shadow organization that would do shit like that.
Yeah, and I mean the whole thing with Rothschild, it's that they control a lot of the market. So I don't know if you're really into stocks and stuff like that, but the whole concept is that because they, from my understanding, Rothschild owns every single major financial institution in the world. That's not just including the United States. Anything in the Swiss, anything in the world that's considered a major financial institution, they have a hand in.
Oh yeah.
So they essentially control whether or not things are going to inflate, whether they're going to deflate, whether or not we're going to go through a recession, a depression, whether we're going to go through a bull run in the stock market. It's all determined by Rothschild. I don't necessarily know a lot about the stock market. I do have stocks, and I, kind of dabble here and there, hoping maybe one day I'll make it big. But, if I don't, that's fine. I'm cool being a poor man. I've been a poor man my whole life. But, yeah, that's the whole concept, man.
Yeah.
That they control the big financial outview and outcome of the world. I think it's very feasible.
Yeah, is it very far outspoken type?
I don't know,
but it is feasible. I can see.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I don't think it's necessarily to the extent that people conspiracize that it is, but I think it's extremely fucking feasible because you got to look at the past. You just look at the past 10 years. You know what I'm saying? It's so fucking weird. It's so weird how all this shit happens. The way the rise, it's not consistent in my opinion with history. If you look at how the markets rise and fall, it's not consistent. I would say this last 10 years has been chaotic for the stock market, especially, I would say within COVID. COVID, dude, caused a lot of chaos. But even still, within COVID itself, there were still people who made out like fucking bandits.
Dude, that's what I was about to say the same thing. During COVID, with the whole stock market, with the whole shutdowns, with everything, with the whole thing with COVID, it bankrupted and ruined a fuck ton of people. But there's so many people who are like mid-grade that fucking elevated so fucking.
Not even that. So there's a YouTube channel that I watch. I have to get the name of the YouTube channel. It's like Clear Value Tax, I want to say is what it is. And I watch a bunch of his shit, right? So he was talking about how if you look at the markets, dude, over the course of the last 4 years, right, when COVID hit, it's Clear Value Tax. That's the channel. This Korean guy named Brian, super cool guy, makes really solid content, right? So he was talking statistics, dude. Over the course of COVID, it is statistically proven that during that time frame, the top 1%, the people who were rich, they got richer.
Oh, yeah.
The people who were poor, we got poorer. Mm-hmm. We're struggling harder than we were before. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is, so I get benefits and stuff like that, and even still, I find myself struggling. I find myself struggling with that, plus a job that I'm getting paid, $18 an hour full time. I'm still fucking struggling, and it's insane. It's absolutely insane. I look at my taxes, right? Refiled my taxes, and dude, it was fucking insane. It's insane. My tax, the more stuff I input, the less money I got. It became less and less and less and less and less. Mm-hmm. And she was like, "How is this possible? You didn't make that much money." Because my benefits, that's not taxable. I don't report that because that's a benefit.
Yeah.
For my time in the service. How am I making less money? How am I getting less money back? How am I being penalized for trying to do the right thing and report my taxes appropriately? But you have this top 1% that they could basically do whatever the fuck they want. Mm-hmm. You have the government coming after people who are not even making that much money. But if you go just based off of what I make from work, I'm poverty. I'm poverty level. I live in poverty. But the government's still going to try to tax me heavier than the fucking top 1%. And even like the ones who are above that, I doubt even those people even pay taxes. It's insane, man. If you look at the way that our country works, and I understand capitalism's important, and it's a way better fucking system than anything else out there. But a lot of it doesn't make sense. A lot of it doesn't. If I were to take a game reference, the way that Brock had described things, right? Before we discovered Tyr was Odin, right? He was just saying, he was like, you know what? Something's the pieces just aren't welding right. Something doesn't make sense. This is not adding up together. Mm-hmm. And whenever he fucking whistle blew, homie got fucking killed. And I feel like that happens to a lot of people. People want to whistleblow, and they're like, "Man, dude, I'm starting to discover things," and then it's just like they get silenced. You know what I'm saying? Like for the longest time, if you look at like the whole, and we'll get into this conspiracy later, but the whole child sex ring thing.
Oh yeah, dude. There's a whole like, especially after what's his name, Chester Bennington died.
Yeah,
lead singer for Linkin Park. There's a whole theory now that all of their songs are about a park called Lincoln that was used for fucking sex ring.
Yeah.
Like, pedophile sex ring and shit.
And
then the whole thing with the what's her name? I might get fucking executed for this shit. Fucking goddamn Hillary.
Yeah.
Did you see about the whole shit about the whole pizzeria thing?
Yeah. Well, no. What I saw was that her husband, he was part of that island. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know Epstein Island, but what I'm talking about is that there's this whole documentary, whole thing that came out about whenever her husband was president, and then past that, whenever Obama was president, that they would order pizza, right, for these banquets and shit from his pizzeria in D.C., right?
Right.
Okay, pizza, even expensive pizza, $20 a pizza for 100 people, maybe 1,000, right?
Don't ask me, man. I don't do math. Right, just ballparking. Right.
Maybe $1,000, right?
Right.
There's these correspondence between Hillary and Obama and Michelle and all these fucking political figures.
Yeah.
And this pizzeria talking about, hey, we greatly appreciate you, and the fucking invoices popping up of $78,000.
God damn.
For pizza.
Yeah.
Especially ordering extra pepperoni, like weird fucking orders in this invoice of pizza that they would order. I'm like, and like supposedly like every topping was like a type of child that they wanted. Hey, I want a blonde between this and this age, was pineapple and avocados.
What the
or
fuck?
Whatever. It was weird fucking orders like that.
Yeah.
And pizzas were costing thousands upon thousands of dollars. It's the same thing with the whole Wayfair thing.
Yeah.
Fucking a cabinet fucking set costing $58,000.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're using it to smuggle fucking kids.
Yeah. That's another conspiracy, the whole Epstein Island thing.
Yeah.
Whether or not, I mean, we know Epstein didn't fucking kill himself.
Oh fuck no.
He didn't kill himself. I mean, unless he just.
Okay, so have you been following the whole Maxwell case thing?
No, I haven't, dude. I haven't heard anything about that in a while.
They're not publicizing that shit. There's no media allowed.
Yeah, because the last time I had heard,
the only thing that comes out of there is a artist rendering of it.
Well,
once.
See, and the last time I heard anything about it, it was probably like a year ago when she got indicted.
Still in there.
When she got indicted on charges, right?
It's still going on. The case is still, the court is still going on. And the thing is,
I didn't know that.
The thing is, she supposedly has this black book of clients.
No, because I remember hearing that initially. Like, she had a list of clients. She had a list of workers, children, workers, like young girls, young boys, like specifics as to who was seeing who.
Yeah.
This adult male was paired up.
Blah, blah,
yeah,
blah.
preferred this young boy or this young girl. And the whole thing was, they were like, hey, the whole premise was, hey, we'll pay you for this, but if you rat, we'll kill you.
Yeah.
Type of deal. You know what I'm saying? You disappear. Not even kill you, you'll disappear. You don't die, you disappear. You didn't exist.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, okay, back to the whole Linkin Park thing. Supposedly he was working on new music. This is whole part of the theory. New music that's supposed to give names.
So what? The conspiracy is what? That Chester didn't kill himself, but he was killed?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and supposedly him and what's the other dude's name? The other dude who killed himself from what's his name? Soundgarden or whatever. I can't remember his fucking name. Chris Cornell.
Yeah.
Chris Cornell. Because I think Chris Cornell supposedly killed himself first, and then Chester Bennington killed himself like a couple of weeks later, a month later on his birthday or some shit.
Yeah.
They're saying like, no, that's not happening. That's not true, because they were both working on this project to release information through music about this whole pedophile sex ring going on.
Really?
Yeah.
That was. I didn't know that,
Dude,
man.
this was like a whole fucking thing. Apparently, they had access to Maxwell's fucking thing. They got access to it. And they did like this whole undercover operations and shit and got it.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
That's
And then
insane.
Fucking gone. Disappeared like that.
That's
And
insane.
that's because, like, Chester Bennington's wife was like, he was not depressed, not sad, not anything. He was happy as can be, determined to get more work done. He was wanting to do this.
See, and I always thought, dude, because, like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. Like, okay, so Linkin Park's last album, in my opinion, it was shit. So my my opinion was that he was just really sad due to the reception of the music. You know what I'm saying? And I've always said that, music, artists, they have to grow. So to me, the suicide made sense. In my mind, it made sense because there's a lot of artists. As an artist, you can't just stay in one box, right? Eventually, you got to try to step out and appeal to the youth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they can't just make music for old fuckers like us. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can't continue to make the same style. For us, it's like, dude, old Linkin Park.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking gas, bro. Like, it was so good, right? But you look at the new Linkin Park, and I'm just like, fuck. Like, same thing with, like, 30 Seconds to Mars and 3 Days Grace. I just look at their new music, and I'm like, God, I want to slip my wrists, but not for the reasons I did in high school. Not because it was so good, but because it's so bad, right? So I guess in my mind it made sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're talking about all these conspiracies and shit. I guess in a way that kind of makes sense. If that was the case.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and I don't have. We don't have a way to
verify
or validate anything. These are just theories.
Yeah.
Right, but
And with that, guys, especially with talking about artists and music and killing themselves, our last conspiracy theory.
oh shit, man. Yeah, so the last conspiracy, I'm a bit
Take it personal.
I take it personal, man, because I grew up with the music. So the last conspiracy theory that we're going to go over here, it's going to be Kurt Cobain, as to whether or not he killed himself. In my personal opinion, I don't think he killed himself. There's a lot of if you just look at the evidence, it doesn't mesh up. So, I think maybe because music was different back then, dude. There was a lot of people doing drugs, and there was a lot of during that time frame, man. Like, music was just fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, artists are, and I think the problem with artists is that they take things so personal, but they kind of have to take that criticism to kind of be better, right? Because, like, okay, so for instance, right, one of my favorite artists in the world, Metallica, they just came out with their new album, and it is bad. It is really fucking bad.
Dude, I haven't listened to new Metallica in fucking so long.
Don't. It's bad. It's bad. I got 15 seconds into that beginning song, and I was like, nope. Absolutely not. This is not Metallica. This is not Metallica.
Okay.
It's bad.
That bad. Huh?
It's bad. It's bad. It's so bad. So, my thing with Kurt Cobain, it wasn't that. Kurt Cobain was at the top of his fucking game, bro. And I get it, artists at a certain point, they start fucking around, and it's kind of just proven throughout history. They get big, they get famous, they start fucking around with drugs, and more often than not, a lot of times, for some reason, the drug of choice is cocaine. You know what I'm saying? It's always cocaine or heroin, oxy, something hard, heavy, something to kind of help numb the pain. Because eventually you get to the point where you're not just making music to make music. It's not a passion anymore. It's a job. It's just like with content creation, right? Being a content creator, I've heard so many content creators be like, hey, when I started this, it was a hobby. It was a passion. And, I'm 10, 15, 20 years into this, and I'm like, dude, I'm getting burned out. I don't know how to keep going without feeling tired. You know what I'm saying? So for musicians, I feel like they're different from content creators because a lot of their shit it's going to be based off of whether or not they're doing tours, live shows, because album sales can only do so much. That's why they have to do live shows and things like that.
Then, like nowadays, there's no such thing as album sales no more, really.
Right? Yeah, because
it's singles on iTunes.
Right, it's iTunes, right? Yeah, because I remember as a kid, dude. One of the first CDs I ever bought, or first 2 CDs I bought, it was through this magazine catalog. My mom had given it to me. She was like, "Hey, you can buy whatever 2 CDs you want." It's the first 2 CDs I had ever bought from a magazine catalog. It was 1X by 3 Days Grace, and it was the Joker album from the Insane Clown Posse. Okay. The first physical CD I bought in person was in Hot Topic. Back when Hot Topic had the big iron. Hot Topic was good. Dude, back when they had the big iron gates, it was dark in there. They had like fucking heavy metal, death metal playing. Like you walked in, you were like, "Fuck yeah! Oh, I'm so gothic in here, bro!" Like when they carried trip pants in the store. So, first album I bought, it was 2 CDs, 1 DVD package, and it was called Metal for the Masses. It was Metal for the Masses, like Volume 5 or something. So it was super fucking cool.
Yeah, and I remember that shit too. I think the first physical CD I ever bought, those 2, I bought 2 at the same time, and I found them at Walmart.
Yeah,
I found them at Walmart. It was Evanescence Fallen.
Yeah,
and what was the other one? I can't remember.
No, and you probably fucking 3 Doors Down.
No, it was
fucking emo kid.
It was System of the Down. I just can't remember the name of the album.
Oof. God damn it! They
had
at
the same time.
Probably Toxicity. If I had to think, Toxicity, the album Toxicity. Yeah.
But yeah, those were the first.
Yeah. No. I remember those. Yeah. I remember buying the fucking Lamb of God album. Fucking had like Blood of the Scribe on there, or Omerta. Fucking dude. Yeah, fucking solid album, right? Yeah. But I remember those, right? So I mean, things have changed, right? You don't buy albums. You don't buy albums. Well, when you buy albums, it's all digital, right? You don't buy physical CDs. Yeah. I remember buying the physical CD, right? Yeah. And we were at that weird point in life where you were like, "Hey, I want to support this album, so I'm going to buy it twice. I'm going to buy it physically on CD, so I have the CD, and then I'm going to buy it digitally." And that's what I would always do up until a point where, I mean, CDs aren't really a thing. And even back then, like, I remember having cassettes.
Oh, yeah.
I remember having cassettes. My first cassette that I owned was Dr. Dre's The Chronic. I'm saying? His first solo album after he had left. Hold on real quick. What the fuck?
Uh-oh.
That special person born in March. Hashish. Yeah, sorry guys, my birthday's coming up. My wife's trying to flatter me. She wants a penis. Anyways, she could buy me a trigger. Birthday present idea, babe. It's on sale. $150.
So anyways, back to the conspiracy theory though.
Yeah, so back to the conspiracy theory. So the whole conspiracy is that Kurt Cobain did not kill himself. So when they found his body, he had shotgun. He had taken a shotgun. The report was that he had shot himself with a shotgun, right? So for any of you who have a knowledge of firearms, whenever you fire a shotgun, in order for you to eject the round, you have to. It was a pump action shotgun, because I don't think back then there was really semi-automatic shotguns. Not in the 90s.
Not very much.
The Spaz maybe the Spaz 12, and even then those were extremely hard to get, because this was a time frame. There was a lot of ban on quote unquote assault weapons or assault styled weapons, semi-automatic shotguns, fully automatic machine guns, fully automatic rifles, things like that. There was a lot of bans. So they said when he had shot himself, he had put the shotgun in his mouth. So it's oriented this way. Ejection port is this way. So when he shot himself, according to what they stated, he shot himself and he died, right? Well, what they found when they went to go find his body was a shotgun shell that had ejected this way. It ejected to the left of his body and not the right. And when he had shot himself, somehow he shot himself, pulled the fucking pump, because when you pull a shotgun pump, you gotta put some force into it. It's not like real It doesn't matter how broken it is, you still
Yeah.
have to put a decent amount of force into it. And when he shot himself, that he pulled the trigger, pump pulled down, shell ejected so hard that it hit the wall, which was roughly like 3 feet away, hit the wall, bounced over, and landed on this side. So there's a conspiracy that Courtney Love had her husband killed because she had everything to gain. You know, Kurt Cobain was at the top of his game. He had fucking released like 2 really good fucking albums. They were making money. People love Nirvana. You know what I'm saying? I think the most known Nirvana song is Smells Like Teen Spirit. Right? Smells Like Teen Spirit. And it just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? I personally think that Courtney Love had Kurt Cobain killed so she could collect on the insurance, she could collect on the money for it. So I don't think there's any chance there's no chance in high heaven or hell that Kurt Cobain killed himself.
Okay, so I'm looking up what model shotgun it was. So the Remington Model 11, which actually is a semi-automatic.
Oh, okay.
It actually is a semi-automatic. But still, the ejection port's on the
Right hand side.
It's on the right-hand side. So, I could... It doesn't make sense.
I don't know. Even if it was a semi-automatic, I don't think what caliber shotgun is that?
20.
No fucking shot that the amount of force from the ejection of the shell, that it had enough force. Because so apparently he killed himself downstairs. And so there was like this small bit of wall next to the stairs, and that it had hit the wall and bounced over his body. I don't think there's no way, even from a semi-automatic, that when it shoots, that it would have enough force to eject and bounce over his body and land like 2 feet from his body on the opposite side near the wall.
Yeah.
There's no fucking shot, dude. Not even with a semi-automatic handgun or a rifle, and those eject pretty hard. You know what I'm saying? Fuck, the only gun I can think of that would eject that hard for it to bounce over your body would be like fucking Chris's AK.
Yeah.
That I could see having enough force to bounce over your body and land on this side. A shotgun? No way. No fucking shot, dude. I can't see that. So that's why I think, and then the whole thing with Courtney Love, she apparently was not home, and she had no. If you look at like the interviews with her, she almost had like no remorse about it. It was almost like she expected it to happen.
So wait, so this is. I'm looking at the exact model that was used.
Right.
The barrel length. Okay, so average arm length. What do you think? How tall was Kurt Cobain? It wasn't.
He wasn't
tall.
super tall. I would say Kurt Cobain was probably like 5'8".
5'8". Okay.
About 5'8", I'd guess.
So arm length span, blah blah whatever. I'm 6'1". My arm length is pretty long, From, if you consider chest out.
I mean, I'm fucking 5'4", 5'5", and I still think I think I have pretty long arm length. I'm weird.
Could you grab that for me?
This one.
Yep, could you grab that for me? I'm gonna kind of make a point because, judging by the model they said that was used, it's there's some shells in it.
All right,
Now. Okay, so guys, Claire, there's Claire. You just showed him injecting out shells. This shotgun is a pump action Winchester SXP. It is a 16-inch barrel. The model that he shot himself with, guess how long the barrel is?
Probably semi-automatic. What model?
20 gauge.
The longest, I would say probably 18, maybe 20 inches. If it was like a bird gun.
The shortest model that they make is a 26-inch barrel.
Holy fuck! 26 inches?
So even so, I'm gonna put this down between us, right? So even me, fully arm extended, guys, my fingertips barely reach the trigger guard. And you're telling me he put this up to where he can...
Right, and I mean, even then, that's 16 inches, right? You put an additional 10 inches on top of that.
Yeah.
There's not a chance in hell.
There's no way he could physically reach the trigger unless he was using like a fucking spoon.
Using his fucking foot or
something.
Fucking right.
Put his toe in there.
He was like, all right. All right, we're making feet porn now.
And if so, I want pics.
Right? God damn. That's what I'm saying, dude. A lot of things scientifically and just from everything we know about firearms, it just nothing makes sense.
It doesn't. Okay, you're good. It's gonna roll.
Yeah, she's good with that.
Anyway, so like, I really don't think he.
I think that Courtney Love had everything to do with it, and I think she had more to gain than he had to lose.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He had his daughter and everything. That's my thing, you know? He had just started a family, and he was at the top of his game. What reason did he have for really killing himself?
Exactly.
You know, I know a lot of artists get depressed, and they get, you know, just with anybody out there, they get writer's block, or they get, you know, just like, fuck, you know, I don't really know nowhere to go, but I don't think that's enough to kill yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, with so much success, you know, especially as an artist, like, hey, you know, after 2 albums, you know, fuck, you did better than most one-hit wonders, and most one-hit wonders didn't kill themselves, and then you fucking blow their shit fucking sideways, spaghetti, fucking lasagna, fucking everywhere, man. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It really doesn't.
I really think Courtney Love had him killed. That's my God's honest opinion, is that she had him killed.
What do y'all think, guys? Do y'all think it was an actual genuine suicide, or do you think she had something to do with it? I really do think she has something to do with it.
Right. Definitely send your opinions down to the Discord.
Yep.
Have a discussion. Have a discussion down in the comments. Have a discussion down in the Discord. We would really love to hear your thoughts and theories on any of the theories and or conspiracies, I guess if you call them, about anything we've talked about, you know, whether today or in the previous podcast.
If y'all have any theories y'all want us to discuss on the next episode, let us know. And,
definitely let us know, and we can hop into it, no problem.
Yeah, guys. And with that being said, guys, we really appreciate y'all being here. Make sure to check us out on all the socials, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, of course. Check out Fabian's Twitch channel.
Yep, go follow me on rpgs123.com / twitch.com/rpgs. Go and give us a follow, man. Give us a sub, or if you really liking the content, I'm playing Hogwarts Legacy, and you know, I got some other projects kind of in the works. I will be leaving sometime in March, so I may or may not be streaming based on the quality of internet we have in Minnesota. But if I do not stream, it'll be for the course of 2 months. But I will upload all content to YouTube and try to make sure you guys have something to consume. If not on Twitch, then on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. And guys, while he's gone, we'll still be working out ways to do the podcast.
Yeah.
We're kind of working out kinks on that shit right now, and we'll let y'all know how it goes. Stay tuned, guys. Fabian got his. I forgot to tell you, your pew pew. Oh, you suck. Why is it doing that?
I don't know, dude. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, guys. Again, having technical difficulties. I don't know.
Yeah, there's something going on with the camera.
Yeah, I need to figure that out.
Yeah.
Anyways, so as I'll tell you, your pew pew review reached the 100 view mark.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Continuously getting views, like, steadily throughout here and there. I was like, oh, I'm happy. Maybe we can become gun tubers.
Yeah, hey, man, I'm all about being a gun tuber. I have no problem with that.
And speaking of which, guys, I am going to be doing an actual video review of my Canic Meta that I got. We kind of forgot to do that last time.
Yeah, we did. We hella forgot to do that shit. It was just so fun shooting it, dude. It was just we just like went straight stupid.
Yeah,
yeah, straight over our head.
But we'll be doing a review of that, guys. Because I do want to start getting into reviews. We will have other firearms or PPUs to review here soon.
Yeah, we have plenty of things to review that we already own, and then you know, in the future, any items that we purchase, we'll definitely try to get a video up on the YouTube.
So stay tuned for all that stuff, guys. Again, next week we will be doing our Spirit of the Week review of the Bourbon Whiskey by Lead Singers.
Yep,
I'm excited for it.
I am excited, but I'm
very excited for it.
Ready for that.
As always, guys, we really appreciate y'all for sticking around.
Absolutely.
Subscribe. It helps us out. And remember, as always,
Okay, make love loudly and make war silently.
we'll see you guys again next time.